Today we are rebuilding the transmission on an 06 Carrera S. This transmission had a problem when you shifted into fourth gear and or if you shifted into sixth gear, so from third to fourth or from fifth to sixth, it would grind, it would kind of crunch. So we are assuming that there's a bad synchronizer inside this transmission. This is an Asian transmission. Every 997 Carrera mostly uses the Asian transmission. Sometimes they use a Getrag, but mostly it's Asian. So I've already done the preliminary work, so let's start taking this thing apart. Keep on bringing this guy out. And there is the inside of the transmission. 1, 2, and the gears are behind these baffles. We'll find those later. There's 3, 4. And then our 5, 6 is this one right here, which is this one right here, 5, 6. So here's our shifter mechanism, right? It just bolts to the side of the transmission. And its job is to go in and push on each one of those with the little, so there's the sideways action of the shifter, which is this lower one down here that I'm moving on the outside over here, right? So that moves the shifter left, the shifter moves left to right and grabs the 1, 3, or 6, or 1, 3, or 5, we'll call it. And then this up and down movement is what pushes the transmission levers back and forth like this. So that lever moves that forward and backward. And it's not very easy to do with just one finger. So we're going to look at our fourth gear synchro. We're going to start removing all these oil baffles, and we're going to remove all the shift forks right now. Ramp, that's how the reverse lights turn on. So then when we get there, we're just going to remove the entire reverse shifter, just like that, all one assembly. Here's our shift fork for reverse. It's got some plastic guides right there. Those look nice. We're going to remove the oil baffle now, and it just says to remove fastening screws, that one and that one. I'm going to see if I can leave that one on. This is a 12 millimeter, which is this is the Japanese spec bolt. If it was a German spec bolt, it'd be a 13 millimeter. So there's some 12 millimeter bolt heads in this transmission because it's Asian, and it's in an Asian transmission. The piece that holds the shift cable holder is held on by 13 millimeter bolt heads. So the Germans had their way with that, and then the Japanese have their way with the Japanese spec bolts. Just something to watch. Definitely got some gunky stuff in here. We'll run this through the parts washer, that'll be safe. Six, 3, 4 is down here. Push that guy in as far as we can. Okay, that all went like that. So in order, it went like this. 6 came out first, then 4 did. And they are Loctited in like crazy. And shift fork and pull shift rod. It's a ball bearing, it's a detent. Right around. So then when you remove it, right there. So we are removing this ball. Now we know where it came from. There's a little sleeve in there as well. Get a little pick here. Beautiful. There we go. See that? Beautiful. Yeah, wow. Okay, wow, look at that. First gear fork has to just kind of lay in there while you reinstall it. This is the tool that we used to just kind of pry that sleeve out of that position. Nice sharp little edge, 3/16 punch. So we're gonna take a lever. Flange. So that's what goes to the axle. Whoop. This guy up like so. And a pin up there. The ring gear is there. The pinion gear is right here. And this, you know, otherwise this is just like a Ford 9-inch rear end, but this is a transaxle, so the transmission and the axle are one. That's why they call it a transaxle. Okay, hold on. Now reverse comes off. No, do it again. Okay, now reverse comes off. Beautiful. Okay. That guy comes off. So these are called the free floating gears. And then there's a free floating and then there's a solid to each gear. So this is our solid 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th right here, and our floating 1st and 2nd. And then I'm guessing that's probably reverse possibly. Problems that we're having is in 4th and 6th gear, which is this last final piece. Okay, so we have got all the loose gears off of what Porsche calls the drive shaft. This is the shaft that the clutch splines goes onto. This goes inside the bell housing, and then this goes inside the transmission over here. Here is your main driven shaft right here, your driven gear that drives everything. This is 1st gear. And then from there, we have gears in this order. I'll kind of do it in reverse. We have 5th gear, which is gonna go right here. Then we have 6th gear, which is gonna go right next to there. Then we have 3rd gear, it's gonna go on next. And then we have 4th gear. This car had a couple different issues. One of which was it had a grind going into 4th and 6th gear. We inspected the synchros. So this is the 4th gear synchro. You can see it's a friction synchro, so this is a friction material right here. The spec here is you take a feeler gauge, which I have out right here, and the spec between those two pieces that I just mated together is 1.6 to 0.8 millimeters. This one actually falls within the spec. Same thing with 6th gear. It also falls within the spec. 3rd gear is pretty wild on this transmission. Check it out, it's actually a 2 or 3-piece synchro. So you've got like dual synchros on the 3rd gear. Then we inspected all these, all the rest of this. And this main shaft right here has a couple problems down at the bottom. See how that's chipped right there and right there? And right there and right there and right there. That first gear is chipped. So I got a price for the main shaft and all the synchros on this Porsche transmission and all the new clips and everything else that needs to go. Like these are just one-time use clips. So you pull this clip off and you throw it away. So it's just a one-time use clip. We went through everything and I got pricing and I added up just for all the synchros and this shaft was about $3,500 to $4,000 in just parts only. So from there, we talked about how much just a rebuilt transmission cost. And a rebuilt transmission is about $6,000 right from Porsche. So that's a fully rebuilt, everything brand new inside the gearbox transmission. So I ordered one from Germany. Let's go check it out. And inside there we've got a package. Nice plastic wrapped here. And this is the transmission. Comes with a new reverse light switch. It comes with a new shifter selector. That's cool. Just right out of the box. Straight down. Here's like a new serial number for the transmission. That says made in Japan right there. It's got new output shafts on it. That's nice. New transmission mount. That's nice. There is the new rebuilt transmission. So we're going to go ahead and put that in the white 911 Carrera S. We're going to go build that old one to go put back in this box because Porsche has a core on it. They want like $5,000 for the old one. So we're going to give them the old one back. And that's it. So we're going to put it back together real quick. So you can see how this is a more deeply pulled radius than this side. So they want the more deeply pulled radius to fit toward fifth gear. So this goes on like this. This is the shift drum. This is what the shift fork touches. And then now we're going to need to start pressing this on. So this is going to get pressed onto there. Okay, so we're going to press that guy right in there. It's going perfectly until it stops. That's it. Synchronizer. You have to make sure that you line up where these dogs are coming out, the shift dogs they call them. There's a space in the synchronizer ring right here for that dog to go through. That way those shift dogs that are right there, those little tiny square pieces of metal, line up with this space right here. So yep, 1, 2, 3. Now we can install sixth gear. We go right on top of there like so. What has to happen, this is why the bearings are split. Bearings have to go around this piece first. Then fifth gear can go around that assembly like that. Because the gear is gonna slide on no problem. The synchro ring is what we have to watch. Main shaft on to fifth gear. Perfect, done. That goes on. And then our third gear goes on, like so. With a, oh, there's our bearing right there. Okay, third gear's on. are going to get lined up right there. Those tangs are going to get lined up right there. Okay, this synchro is now lined up. Okay, third gear is getting pressed on right now. And I'm just holding the synchros together by hand until they bottom out. And it's bottomed out. Beautiful. So here is the transmission all put back together, ready for the core refund. What we ended up doing on this transmission is we put a Porsche remanufactured transmission in it. It was in the long run, it was less money and had way more value because all the stuff on the inside was all brand new. So we're just gonna put this back in that box and ship it back to Porsche, and that's it.